Welcome to Ultimate Insider, Bear Insider podcast. I am Mike Pawlawski, and today we're talking offense, and we're talking offense with a fellow quarterback who went on to become a pretty damn good coach. And so Nick Rolovich joining us on the show today. And Rolo, welcome.
It's great to be here. Great to be here, and I'm sure there's a lot to talk about, but I'd like to continue to learn more about the history of Cal football because I think it's a big part of working at a place is understanding the history, and so I hope you can give me some insight on some of that too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You're a perfect fit for Cal. You have the personality for it. You have the history for it. Obviously a Bay Area guy. Talk about that. What's it like for you to be able to come and work in the Bay Area now?
It's wonderful, but part of that reason is the people I care about the most are the most excited about talking about Cal football now, and that's kind of how we grew up. Been to a couple Cal games, but just being in the Bay Area, and Cal was kind of some family friends, and our connections through our family were kind of through Cal, and just heard about it a lot, and the play, and just the stadium. It's awesome. It's great going around, like whether I hit the gas station and Cal alum sees me. And this is in Novato, California. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm across the bridge. So, and I think it's given my my dad some good how would we say, he's got some good street cred now with all his buddies. So we're in good shape.
I love that. So you've had the opportunity to be a head guy, and then you go from being a head guy going back to being an assistant in a role. Talk about what that's like, and what insight does that give you?
Well, I could see that being a difficult thing if it's not for the right person. And for me, I think I've only gained more love and respect for Coach Wilcox. I liked him before. We had good conversations at Pac-12 Media Day, our interactions. I pulled up to his house one time in Coeur d'Alene when I was still up at Washington State and kind of surprised him, and had some great football conversations. But he's a good person, and he makes it easy to work for him, as far as even if there's things that I do differently, or I can at least know that his intentions are his beliefs and they're for the best of this team. He's got a humility, that, and a lack of ego that's probably pretty rare for people in his seat. And he's a big reason why I like working here. Obviously being the Bay Area, but working for him has made that transition very easy for me.
Well, one of the things you're always looking for in an employee, right, is an ownership mentality.
Yeah.
And as a former head coach, you always wanted that in your coaches. What do you bring to it now as an assistant, having been a head coach?
I just hope I'm there for I'm pretty honest, and I'll give you an opinion if you ask me. He may not totally disagree. Like, he's a defensive guy, I'm an offensive guy. There may be a disagreement in how the style of football is played or decisions are made, but I can get behind a guy that knows what he believes in and knows how we're going to win a football game if that's the way we're going to do it. I'd like to be there for him if any questions, whether it's situational or recruiting or what'd you guys do, or I really enjoy those conversations with him, and hopefully be kind of a secondary voice on the offense, especially the quarterbacks, with all the elements of the position, whether it's game day mentality or what happens in a game or snapping them back out of it or preparation. However I can help, I'm this is a pretty special, not only just because it's the Bay Area and that, but it comes off, a tough time in my life, and having that opportunity to get back in and doing it at home is really pretty special to me.
And the Cal family is a pretty special family. Like, once people put their arms around you here, it's a pretty special place.
Well, they're family reunions at the Cal family, I'm sure, are some of the best in the world, because there's some fun-loving people and good humor and just good hearts, and creative, witty. I mean, it is a brand, and that's awesome. That's good to be a part of.
Yeah, you're a guy who, as a coach, always been an intellectual guy, right? No, There's no.
People would disagree with you on that, Mike, a lot.
I don't know who. There's no surprise. Obviously, you and Coach Leach were good friends, right? And,
Oh man, yeah. I hope glad
you
you
know,
brought that up.
yeah. I mean, well, Leach, you're right. I love the guy too,
Uh,
but you're an intellectual guy, and you've gotten to coach at several different places. Talk about what it's like coaching at Cal compared to other places.
I think in general, one of the things that struck me is the overall majority of the player's mindset, and I think it comes from being at Cal. There's a high percentage of I want to know the answer. I want to succeed. There's not a lot of chasing around knuckleheads or guys making bad decisions. I'm not saying they're perfect or they're angels. They deal with a lot of stuff, whether it's media, social media, what people say. There's still those human elements that get into it. But as far as their desire to do things right, I think it's probably the highest percentage I've ever been around. And I don't necessarily know why that is, but that is, we don't have guys like missing lifts or missing meetings or, not acting right in the community. I'm sure things have happened or whatever, but nothing since I've been here. I think there's a pretty good focus, and I think it's a testament to the complete human of the Cal student.
That's one of the things that I took for granted while I was at Cal because I didn't, have exposure to anywhere else. But as soon as I started playing professionally, all of a sudden I realized, holy smokes, like not everybody's like my Cal locker room.
Right.
And so it makes you realize what a special place it is.
Mm.
We just talked to your young quarterback today and then
Oh, did you?
talked to Cade. And it was like, there's two Cal dudes right there. They have the mentality of Cal dudes.
And I think that shows in recruiting when parents bring their kids here, right? And they get around our guys. I think it's really genuine, and I think it's a really attractive. Maybe it's multiple qualities, but all lumped into one quality. They have a really good feeling about who their sons will be spending a lot of their time with, and I think it's been, at least the season I've been here for recruiting season, they've been very attracted to, because show me your friends, I'll show you your future, and I think a lot of people, whether they know that specific phrase or quote or not, the people know that, they want to be around people that have great qualities, and I think they're seeing that when they bring their sons here.
Yeah, it's a lot of it at Cal. And now rather than just talking in generalities and about the university, let's talk about the team this year. Because this is a new offensive style for you. You're a run and shoot guy, right? You were raised,
Yeah.
you played in the run and shoot, you ran
Yeah.
the run and shoot. You're switching offensive systems this year. Talk about how you like the new offensive system under Brian Harsin.
It's fascinating. Well, I think Hars, for one thing, it's incredibly fascinating to see some of the ingredients that made Boise so hard to defend. The Boise was the most I had connection with just by playing them in the Mountain West and seeing why they were so good. And the multiplicity on offense, it's really unpredictable. You don't really get a lot of tells because things can change so quickly as far as formation, motion, snap count. I mean, I feel like sometimes I look at our operations and I almost feel like, man, I could have been doing so much more as a head coach or an offensive coordinator. Now, there is some system there's some system fit, right? We do things a certain way and it's worked, and maybe there's ways to improve it, but you really, it's been fascinating to see under the hood of the guts of what makes Coach Harsin and a lot of the guys that came through the Boise tree, their offense hard to defend. And I think it's really good for preparation for our defense. I don't know that we'll see a whole lot they wouldn't have seen through spring and fall camp from us.
That's great. Let's talk about some of the players that you have coming in. Obviously, new quarterback, Sangapulatele is going to be the guy this year. Coach just made the announcement last week. What does he bring? And what is your relationship like with him, having been a guy who coached in the islands, who played in the islands, who understands the culture a lot? What is your relationship and what does the new quarterback bring?
Well, I think Well, it's a good relationship. I enjoy him very much. I think we're both kind of came into this at the same time, trying to kind of lean on each other as we're learning a lot of Hars's stuff. But I think what's more important is the relationships I have with people he considers uncles or relatives, and not that he's done this, but he knows I can get to people that can really set him straight if he gets out
Crack
of
the
line.
whip on him a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think he's learned a lot about. I hate to use this term, but the professionalism of college football as far as preparation. You know, and I lived out there for a long time and kind of had played in the system similar where, you know, you go on the grass, shoes off, let's run routes, let's play. You know, there's a lot of fun living. You know, just it's not as structured over there as far as
There's a freedom to it.
there's a freedom to it, and I think that shows in his play. But also there was a transition into this style of offense and especially preparation, and Hars lays out what needs to be done, and I think he's very clear about it, and he's really. I think he may not have known what it would take, but I think his growth in the 8 months he's been here has been tremendous. And you've done it. I got in the huddle at Denver in a preseason game, and the headphone, there's 25 words, and I know I screwed it up, and I bootlegged the wrong way. I actually got in, but Shanahan's like, you called the complete wrong play. And so I kind of feel where he's coming from, but he's been great. It's rolling off his tongue. I think he's got elite arm talent. I think he's got if you take a snapshot when he makes the decision to throw it to wherever he is, especially on some deep throws, he has a depth vision and anticipation of throws down the field that's pretty special. Like I would have never seen that guy opening up. He knows how to put touch on it and see. This is vision on some deep stuff that really impressed me. And I think the person he is he's a good human, but I also think he's a high level competitor, and I think the players really kind of gravitated to him throughout his time here.
Yeah, I love a couple things about him. I love his innate accuracy. Like he is just so ridiculously accurate for a young quarterback. It's unbelievable. Having great arm strength.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, you and I didn't have the benefit of great arm strength like he does, right? Yeah,
we didn't have great anything.
We had to have great feet.
He probably had better than me, but
we had to create great feet, right? And good platforms and do all that stuff to make those throws. He can throw it off platform anywhere, which for him is going to be a big thing, right? Getting him to where he's now consistently on platform for those throws that are easy. So I think guys with that much talent often take that for granted. And that's when you miss that, second long throw that you should have made because you didn't get your feet set. Talk about working with him and the advancement, because I've seen it from the spring until the fall. So talk about advancing through that progression of let's go throw it around the yard to, now we're going to have some formal feet in the pocket.
I heard a real accurate term I had never heard before from Dom Gracia, who's one of our other quarterbacks who him and Jaron have taken a liking to one another. But he says him and Jaron were having a conversation the other day, and I think you'll like this term. And it's almost an accuracy arrogance. And when
that's a great term.
I thought it was a fantastic term.
Yeah.
You you could probably get it to where you want it to be, but is that the right decision for that play at that time, in that situation? And they were having that conversation. Jaron, I never heard this conversation about this, only from Dom. So that'd be a fascinating one to hear about from them. But I think the term is something I'll take with me, because I think there are guys like that who think they can make every throw and probably can, but probably that situation is not the best decision for the team.
Yeah, and you can see guys in the NFL that couldn't overcome that, right? Guys that were playing that had that thought that they could just be them and roll it out on the field. So that's a great term. I absolutely love that one. Talk about, and you and I both know this because we've been behind them, the offensive line this year, the big boys, right? They got to make it happen. It's a different system. I've noticed a lot of gap scheme running. And then our tackles look like tackles. Like we're in a position where our tackles are bigger. Our guys can move. Does it come together this year?
It has to, and Famika is the guy to do it. He's I can't speak on how it was in the past. I don't really know.
Right.
I know Mike Safel is incredibly proud of his time here as an O lineman, and I think there's a real deep investment that him and Famika are trying to build in that room. From all accounts, it seems like improvement in that room. I think there will be a toughness, but there will also be a level of intelligence. I think that he's trying. He's got a nice balance. I'm talking about Famika with toughness, honesty, and football intelligence. And I think it's coming. We're seeing that shape up. I think we got some depth there. I think hopefully there's not, but if there's any injuries, I think we have a little bit of depth there that we feel good about, and everybody's advancing. You know, at a good pace. It's always going to be who's more physical, whose communication's the best. Are they on the same page? They make every offense go, whether you're throwing it around 70 times or you're running power 40 times. Those guys. And one thing Harse, J-Dub do is make sure when they do something right, it's not just Jaron or Devin throwing a touchdown to Trond or Jacob or something. It starts with the O-line. And I like that it's pointed out on a consistent basis in front of the team. And it's a tough position to play. You know that. I know that. And you just all you can do is respect them.
Yeah, well, especially those tackle spots, right? Because you're going up against the best athletes on the field. Those edge rushers these days, big, fast, strong, athletic. They're dancers. They can move, and they have so many things that they can do. They got to just win once.
And a lot of looks, right? I mean, you're getting a lot of fronts. You're getting a lot
of looks. Yeah.
I don't know if you're getting a positionless defensive football, but there are some elements where here comes a nickel blitz who's rushing a tackle. How do you deal with that versus a typical D end or interior pressure? Are we coming down? I mean, I think the respect is out there for the intelligence needed for O-line, but maybe newcomers to the game don't realize how much and how important they are.
And it's changed so much just since you and I were playing. I mean, in terms of you're talking about the looks that you're seeing nowadays on defense, offense is always trying to answer defense, which always answers back with something else. And it's always this puzzle you have to unwind. And so the game has just changed so much. I agree with that 100%.
And the puzzle's always growing.
Always,
and sometimes it comes back to a piece that was good 12 years ago, and it never settles. And that's one of the things that keeps it fresh. I think the season, right? You get fall, then you get some recruiting, then you get spring ball, then you get camps and more recruiting, and then summer camp. That is a freshness, I think, that at least as a player I liked, and as a coach, I think it keeps the year, it's not really mundane. You're always doing something new in different parts of the year. But even in the schematic elements of football, everyone's trying to get an advantage. Something new is happening. I mean, it's really iron sharpening iron throughout the whole philosophical element of football in general, I think.
Yeah, so let's talk about the rest of the position groups now here before we get off offense. Okay. Let's talk about the running backs.
Anything specific?
I just love to hear about the running backs.
I mean,
they're all new faces, So
yeah, I like them.
So we have all new guys back there at running back. What should Cal fans expect this season?
Well, we could start with Brandon High, and he's a bigger type back, but he has really good speed. He really does. And Julian's familiar with him, recruiting him and coaching him. He's really come in with a mind. I think Julian's taken his group, the guys that have come in and like, all right, here we go. This is what we're about to do. And they know Harse wants to run the ball. That's running game is a big part of the deal. Let's go to Kendrick. Kendrick has shown. Kendrick and LJ have similar styles to me. There's a difficulty to tackle with some of them. Yeah. With LJ and Kendrick, not that Brandon High can't break tackles, but he's going to run through tackles a little bit more than shake you up, and he's got deceiving speed for his body, and if he can get in the open field, he can go.
Yeah. And let's talk about the guys who are going to catch the ball, and we'll work them all, tight ends and wide receivers. What are your thoughts on targets this year?
Well, as guys, I mean, Mason Minnie's been a real great pickup. Landon's had some flashes in camp. Jeff Johnson, I mean, you talk about a guy who is just a team guy who does everything right,
Yeah.
works hard at practice, has had a really consistent camp catching the ball, multiple roles, really a real good leader for this team. He's really a guy that even the new guys, I think they lean on in, the football element of it, but also just the part of being a new human at Cal. And
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody better that I would want as far as a support system. If I was just to show him get dropped off here on Piedmont Ave,
That is such a perfect description. I got a real good opportunity to meet Jeffrey over the last couple of years, and he's
It's
been at the
special, man.
house for dinner for a while, and he's just such a phenomenal person, right? Just a
Yeah.
great human being on
Yep.
top of being a really special teammate.
Yes.
So
Yes.
he's a great one to have on your team for sure.
In 20 years, everybody on the team will remember Jeff in a positive light. They might not remember what catch or what, but they will have positive memories of Jeff Johnson.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
What about receivers? Yeah.
Well, Jacobs DeJesus has been, I think we got to see him up and close and personal at the bowl game. Just hardworking, full speed all the time. He's one you got to pull back on because he will go full speed until he can't go anymore. And it's very important to him. I think that's one thing sometimes gets over. How important is football to this young man? And it's going to be very high for a guy like Jacob. Tron, you talk about the body types, they're completely different body types. And Jacob's going to obviously have some element in the return game that should be exciting, I would anticipate. Tron has been fun for me because he's kind of like, I'm the new guy. Tron knows so much. Tron is smart. He has seen so much.
Yeah.
And his ability to translate and also guide me through some of the situations in the past has been really excellent conversation and giving me a good insight on kind of the things, whether it's games or travel or whatever it was, or his translation of this play a few years ago reminds him of this or similar to this. He's really got good recall in that world. I think Mark Hamper has been a good pickup, shown some real toughness. He's a physical guy. Who else we want to talk about? Q's got some real speed.
Yeah.
Real speed. Keon coming along, ready for him to have a breakout.
Jordan King comes to mind. Trevor Rogers comes to mind.
Are you kidding me? Jordan King, he's probably in that Jeff Johnson world as far as just it's incredibly important to him. He does everything right. He's always reliable. He makes incredible catches. He has a body type and skill set that can do a lot of things. And I think he is just take the person he is and leave it over there. Just the athlete he is, has a lot of versatility in how I think we're thinking about things.
Yeah, big dude who can run a little bit. He's physical.
Yeah, and very willing to do whatever he needs to do to see this team win. As far as unselfishness, he takes pride in understanding how to get other guys open when it's not his time. And he's smart like a QB like that. So, but when he knows it's time, he's really you hate to say it like this, but some QBs and this is probably all the QBs in this group. If they get Jordan King, they know where he's going to be. He's like their blankie because he's safe, right? I know where he's going to be, so he gets elevated in targets. I think just because of the trust level that he has built, probably throughout the whole offense.
That's awesome. Talk about Trevor Rogers real quick, but then I want to talk about what you were just talking about, the global understanding of plays, right, and how important that is.
Yeah, it's funny about Trev. When I was coaching in high school the last few years, I was going against Trevor.
And you guys shut him down. I watched that game film.
We got him once, but he got us twice, I think. I don't know I know we played him a bunch. It was great. Well coached, great program in the East Bay. We lost him in the state game. I was doing special teams. They returned a kick on me. He was good DB. It was great, but that's been fun to rekindle that with Trevor.
For sure.
I think we saw a real physical growth from Trevor.
Yeah.
Weight room coach Novak deserves a ton of credit for the program he brought in and the mentality he's continued to develop in that space. But we saw a lot of improvement in various elements of athleticism with these guys when we coached Novak's program. So like to see Trevor. Trevor's got that long speed, he catches the ball, he can go up and get it, things like that. So and so we just named off 6 or 7 guys, and one of the beautiful things with Coach Harsh's program or offensive thought process is, there could be combinations of those guys all the time. It could be different roles, and it keeps a lot of guys engaged because of that. And that's something very different for me, because we would stay with 4 receivers majority of games and seasons. But I do like the investment, the continuous investment these kids have, because they know I may do this better, and he'll find a way to get them on the field and play. Even if this one guy can do one really good thing, he's always thinking of ways to get that guy in the game if he can help us win on that day.
So we talked about the thinking globally, right? As a receiver, that's one of the things when I played in the Arena League, when I played at Cal, we used to do this, football Jeopardy, where we would call a play, and for every guy that could describe their route and then describe everybody else's route, they get a point for everything that everybody was doing. So by the end of the year, you had outside receivers describing, whether it's a full slide, half slide, man zone, protection inside. And so it was one of those things that the more they understood about the game, I'm running the post over top, which means I need to keep this depth or take this angle because I'm getting this guy open underneath.
Yep.
How important is that? And with the new system, how long does it take to get that going? Because there's going to be some growing pains on offense this year.
Well, growing pains is hard to really describe. Are we going to perform at our optimal level every single play of every game? No, we'll probably make mistakes, and those guys are good too. But the overall investment from this group is high. The global element of understanding offense is typically I like to meet with the quarterbacks and receivers all the time, so they hear. In more of a system that I've been used to, you need to be on the same page. I tell the receivers, you got to be like backup quarterbacks, and and guess what? You will know when you're getting the ball and when the quarterback messes up. You will also know when you're not getting the ball and somebody else is, and your desire to be great on that play has to equal when you know you're getting the ball. That takes a little time for guys to get there, but we have really smart guys, and there's a lot of assistance going on and a lot of understanding, and there's varying positions where they line up too. So I think it happens faster in a system like this because they understand concepts from different spots, because they have to if they want to get on the field.
Yeah. And it's a great tool to have, obviously.
Oh,
you mentioned iron sharpens iron earlier.
And they'll make really good coaches someday,
right?
Because of that. They won't just say catch the ball. They'll be like, hey, line, you see this pressure coming here? We can slide it this way. Or those are the guys you want around the youth for the game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's not just I've got a post route. That's it. Throw me the ball, right? Those guys that are always open coming back to the huddle.
Right.
Here's the full concept. You mentioned earlier iron sharpens iron. Right, you're going up against this Wilcox defense, which the defense has been the center point of this team for quite a while. They're really good. Talk about what it's like playing against this defense. You've coached against it, when you were up at WSU. Talk about what it's like playing this defense and then practicing against it every day.
Well, you see, let's start with the staff. They're all very comfortable with it, and they know. There's not a lot of what happened. Everybody knows what happened, and there's very few mistakes mentally that I don't know exactly what they're teaching, but that's how I feel, is that we have to earn everything with these guys, right? We got to either out physical them, or we need to release the route better. There's not a lot of busts that we are able to take advantage of, because I do think because a consistent message system, you start seeing the growth throughout the years, and guys come in, get recruited, then get, the seniors are becoming like assistant coaches for the freshmen, and you can send your message through them, and they understand where the freshmen are at. Okay, when I was stuck at this point, I could help. This is what helped me to the next level. I mean, you've got I'm only going to say half a locker room because half the defense, but you got half the locker room in that incredibly positive learning cycle around a bunch of good people who are it's just a real comforting place to be, even as a young freshman coming in. You don't get treated any different. You get brought up. You will contribute if you can. They're very stout. Obviously, Cade does things at practice. You're like, let's just
He's
stay away
unbelievable,
from,
isn't he?
just stay away from. But he's not unbelievable in a way where he's so talented
Yeah,
sometimes, and how he ends up practicing, they say practice like a pro. He does things and it's like he could have really hurt us right there if
yeah,
he wanted to, if he wasn't in control of his mindset at that time. But I think he's got a real bright future.
yeah, for sure. I always said last year he was the most explosive athlete on the field, no matter what field he was on. Like
Mm.
just a dude who was just so he had so much twitch to him and so explosive that he's just a hard guy to block when he's healthy.
But when you see those guys that have that gift, that physical gift, and he trains and that stuff, but also the other, he really likes football. He's in
Yeah.
the front seat of every team meeting. He knows where he's sitting. He knows that he'll probably get called on to read something or to explain something, or that's also at a high level of importance for him. And I think that combination, those are the rare guys.
Oh, for sure, no doubt about it. So you've had the opportunity coaching head coach, assistant coach, player to be at the beginning of a season with a lot of teams. How do you feel about where Cal is right now at the beginning of the season?
What I like is we kind of stay in the now. We don't There's not a lot of talk of, you know, what's Minnesota going to do. Obviously, as a coach, you got to have some of those early games, and we've done all that and had them looked at and game planned a little bit. But I think Coach Wilcock has done a nice job with his team as far as staying in the present and kind of blooming where you're planted that day. Hard for me to say without really understanding the ACC and never really being around it. Got a lot of history with Oregon State. I think we can expect a real fight. We got coaches on that staff I consider good friends. They're saw what happened last year. I'm sure they're wanting to get some Bears going this year. Quarterback they brought in, I'm sure there's some element there that they feel good about. Guy who's played a lot of football. Bray is always been, at least since I remember meeting him, has always been a high level defensive guy. And Oregon State's one of those places that seems to have a real consistent culture over the last 20 years to me. They'll always fight. You'll see some of the Civil War games when everyone thinks Oregon's this much better than Oregon State, and they'll fight their butt off.
Right.
And I think you're going into year 3 with Bray. And I would anticipate them having some alignment in thought after 3 years. You know what I mean? I don't think they're going to be emotional. I don't think they're going to do a lot to hurt themselves. I mean, just type of guy he is, and I think it should be a good battle. But we have to play our game, and we can't think too much about how other people are feeling or what they're doing. I think there's a real staying centered element to this program right now that there's a love for each other too, and that gives you a chance sometimes.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, I'll tell you this: I love having you at Cal. You
I
and
like
I,
being here for sure.
you and I go back to your early on Arena League days is when we first met, and
Yep.
we've been in contact from time to time since then. So it's awesome to having you. I appreciate you coming on the podcast here,
No.
and you and I catch up every practice I come out. So
That's right.
it's always good to have that conversation.
That turf and walls, that'll bond you for life when you get in that Arena League, brother. So it's great what you're doing. Great to have you. I want to hear some of the Cal stories, and make sure you come around here and sit in the quarterbacks. They need to understand some of the stories and people who laid some of the bricks they're standing on right now. So I think Coach Harsh mentioned that too. Make sure you get over here and get some, at least some knowledge into these guys, because you were here as a young player. You needed to hear the stories and the reasons why you love being here and why people have extreme love for the place. So
Yeah, no doubt. I got it from Troy Taylor, and then Craig Morton, Steve Bartkowski. All those guys were the guys for me. So
that matters. That matters for the health of a program, especially being an alum and being connected with the program, I think it's important. So I want to make sure we get that done.
For sure. Well, great to have you on. I appreciate you. For everybody at
Thanks,
home,
brother.
Nick Rolovich, like, he's a guy, one of the most interesting men in college football, and he's one of our guys now. So
Glad to be back in.
yeah. For Bear Insider, Ultimate Insider, I'm Mike Pawlawski. Good talking to you as always. Go Bears.
Go Bears.